Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Geoscience coming at you with another Dragunity deck profile. This build isn't really that different from my previous builds, but I've changed a few more cards in response to how the meta seems to be shaping up. Leave me some comments, tell me what you guys think I should take out, what I could do to make it better. I'm aware that Vajrayana, Maxis, and Feck Veilers are like staples for Dragunities, but I don't really have access to those cards. I'm making do with what I got, and this is the best I got. Two Mistletanes, gateways into level 8 synchros, and it's just all around good for this type of deck. Three Dukes and three Legionnaires standard. Don't see why you would run anything else. One Mist Valley Falcon gets over Thunder Kings easily enough, and it allows me to recycle Dragon Ravines once it's on the field, so I can pretty much go from this, a Dragon Ravine and a Phalanx, to having my entire graveyard setup done and still having to play next turn. I play three Phalanxes. I'm proxying two of them just because I feel the deck requires this now. Corseska is just too slow and relies too much on the battle phase, and it's mostly good for if you're running Labothan, which I'm not. So three Phalanx is just a necessity for this deck. Double Atlas, it's good at 2. You don't really want 3 because then it gets cloggy. And 1, unless you have like a really consistent deck, then 1 will just not be enough. 2 is where it's at. Tech monsters, we got Malefic Cyber End, an amazing beat stick you can just drop at any time. They almost always warning bottomless or do whatever with this card, so it's just safe gateways to where if they do stop the summon of this, you can just go into your Dukeses and whatnot. So yeah, it's just good. Sangan searches out almost everything in the deck besides the Mistletanes and the Cyber End. So yeah, it's pretty good. It allows me to go into rank 3 exceeds if I have to with mind control. Dandelion, discard fodder, and a good just set. I can set this, bait out an attack, and then spawn 2 tokens, so it's just good. Another discard fodder card, the Fabled Cerebral, allows me to get plus off a Dragon Ravine and a free tuner on the field. So yeah. And double Battle Fader. I run a lot of field clearing cards that just wipe out all monsters on the field. So I can be sitting duck at times, but mostly that's because I'm waiting to draw into what I need to pitch for Dragon Ravine, so I can discard my discard outlets or my useless terraformings once I already have Ravine. This card just allows me to wait for that setup. I don't have to hope I draw into it, and if I don't, then just die like in a turn or two. This card allows me to wait the way I need to for this type of deck. Staples, I run Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm. Only one MST, 2 is too many for this type of deck where there's little draw power. One Book of Moon, it's just amazing. Drop my MST. One Mind Control, staple nowadays with Exceeds out there. And one Scapegoat is just really good for this type of deck where you're running this many tuners, like 7. And it's a good wall, allows you to just get those higher level monsters like 9s and 8s and 10s using Dukes and whatnot. Next up, 3 Dragon Ravine and 3 Terraforming. Unless you plan on running dualities or upstart goblins, then this is what you need. You need 3 terraforming, especially seeing as I'm running a 42 card deck. It's just good for my build. 2 Card of Consonances and a Foolish Burial. This is just a secondary engine in case I don't draw into Dragon Ravine. It allows me to just get my setup done and plus off of the Card of Consonances. Traps, we got 2 Dark Bribes, 2 Torrentials, a Mirror Force, and a Venus Chain. Let's see here. The Dark Bribes work to stop any really power card. Stuff like card destruction for Dark Worlds, Monster Reborn, Book of Moon, Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Torrentials that my opponents are playing. This card stops all that and replaces it with just one card that is almost always not as good as the card I just took away from them. It's a really good card and is especially good against Solemns because they take a crap ton of damage just to draw a card. It's amazing. Double torrentials. I have that in addition to Dark Hole. A lot of people like running it instead of a Dark Hole. I like running all three. Just have maximum field clearance, so I can go in with a Dukes, Quick Phalanx, go for a 2500 or plus beat stick that I can just keep swinging with. So it's just really good to have the field as clear as possible, because with Dragon Ravine, I will always have a monster in hand that I can swing with. A Fiendish Chain is just good to stop those effects. It's essentially an extra Book of Moon, because it makes your opponent's monster useless for a while, and it's just really good. The Mirror Force, you guys can replace with anything you guys want. D-prisons, compulsory evacuation devices, bottomlesses, whatever you guys want. This guy, you can replace it with that. But I like Mirror Force. It's another good just field clearing card, and I like it. Extra deck, we run one Cyberend Dragon for my Malefic Cyberend. One Ally of Justice Decisive Armor. It's a good level 10 synchro. One Field Marshal, good level 9. I would run a Mistworm instead of this, but this guy has better stats, and I don't have a Mistworm, so it just all works out. Stardust, Dot Ruler, and a Colossal Fighter. All these are just amazing right now. The only other level 8 synchro I would really add is either a second Stardust or a Scrap Dragon. But seeing as I don't run Vajrayanas, level 8s are a little bit harder for this deck to make. That's why I run all the extra stuff like Dandelion and Scapegoat. So yeah, that's good. One Black Rose. You only really need one level 7 in deck, and Black Rose is just the best one because it allows you to just clear the field, get rid of the trouble cards like Judgment Dragon, BLS, any other stuff like that. Allows you to get rid of that and just leave the field clear. Combos greatly with the main way I make this is through Scapegoat or Dandy tokens, or with Battle Fader. I can just take a hit, Battle Fader, summon Dukes, Phalanx, go for this guy, nuke the field. Level 6s, we got Gayborg, Iron Chain, and a Gaia Knight. Gaia Knight is best first turn. Iron Chain is best if my opponent's field is clear for the most part. And Gayborg is the best one whenever you're trying to get over trouble cards like, I don't know, Graphas or whatever. Or BLSs or anything. Because few cards can actually get over this, surprisingly. Unless they use an effect to destroy it, then they're not going to be able to attack for a while. And so many people forget this guy's effect because they're too lazy to read it or too lazy to understand it. This guy has a built-in Honest or Colute, whatever you want to call it. It adds, for my deck, it adds anywhere between 1,500 to 1,200 to 2,000. So it can become a 4,000 to 3,200 beater, which is more than almost anything in the meta has right now. Gaia Knight's good first turn, just sit on it. In Vajrayana, builds that have Vajrayana, it's first turn Stardust. For me, it's first turn Gaia Knight. It's a card that they can't get over. They have to set stuff to avoid being hit by this monster, or they just destroy it with an effect, and next turn I can go off again. Usually with Iron Chain, because Iron Chain is amazing for whenever I play it. I am just extremely lucky with Iron Chain. I always mill my opponent's power cards, Dark Hole. I was playing a Dark World player, and most of the time you don't want to have them mill, because then they'll just mill Grapha or stuff like that. Or they'll put fiends into their graveyard so they can use their field spell. But you know what I milled? I milled a Gateway of the Dark whatever, a Dark World Dealing, and one card destruction. They just lost 3 of their main draw cards and discard outlets thanks to this guy, and took 2,500 to the face. Level 5s, we got one Magical Android. It's surprisingly beefy. Like, I have had times when this guy just gets in there and does some damage. And the extra 600 is pretty nice. One Vortex to Whirlwind. I rarely use him unless I'm actually using Legionnaire. The Magical Android is a little bit better because it's generic. So I can just use Cerebral and Dandy tokens or Dandelion itself. This guy is only used whenever I use Legionnaire and Phalanx, and it gets in there. I can, however, its effect is rarely used unless I have a Mist Valley Falcon in deck. That's the only time I ever actually use it. Exceeds, we got one Utopia, one Acid Golem, and a Gachi Gachi. This is pretty much all you need. The Acid Golem you can switch out with a Leviathan Dragon, but I just got this and I really like this card over it. I'm sure it's an extremely unsafe card to use because you can't special summon, but I can pretty much just get rid of this quickly enough with Legionnaire Atlas if I have to, or I can just keep swinging, or take the 2000 and keep swinging. I can just do a lot of things with this card. The Gachi Gachi, it's good. It's not the best card, but it's good filler, and if I can get it out, then it usually allows me to stall for a turn or two. And the Utopia is just a Utopia. It's the best rank 4 Exceed that we have right now, outside of a couple of dual terminal ones that aren't out yet. So yeah. Side deck, I'm running 2 trap holes for that Pesky Inzektor and Windup matchup. This just gets rid of both their loops. 1 Cyber Dragon. I would be running a second one, but I don't have one. Cyber Dragon is just a really amazing side card right now. You can drop it on almost anything, and they'll either get rid of it through summon negation cards, or they'll just let it sit there. 1 Imperial Iron Wall. Again, I would run 2 if I had another one. It's just a good anti-everything card. A lot of decks nowadays rely on removing their own cards from play, like for BLS and whatnot, so this card just says no. 2 Leeching Light. Lightsworns, I'm still waiting for their amazing comeback. I mean, they have like almost everything they need except a playset of Honest and Luminas. That's like, they have their 3 boss monsters plus the BLS plus Dark Arm Dragon if they're running that build. They have everything they need. I don't see why they're not plussing. Why not topping, my bad. It's also good against agents if you ever see one of those decks out anymore. Double Smashing Ground, amazing card in the Dino Rabbit matchup. Double 7 Tools, this is for gain 3 whenever they side in against your sides, which for me is mostly track cards. So it's just really good. We got 1 MST for anything that you feel like you need an MST for. You got enough destruction with Legionnaire, Atlas, and Heavy Storm in the main 1 MST. But if you feel like you need an extra one, there's one in the sideboard. Chaos Trap Hole at 2. This card is just amazing against all tier decks right now. Tour Guide dead, Wind Up Hunter dead, Inzektors, everything's dead. It's just really good. I would be maining these 2, and I'm still thinking of doing that, but for now I don't have anything absolute. Especially seeing us have a Shadow Imprisoning Mirror I can side in, and it works just as well, and it just completely stops Dark Worlds and Inzektors. And in case that doesn't do it, I still got a Black Horn of Heaven for Dino Rabbit mostly, because this card can only stop inherit summons, I believe that's the term, I forget really, but it stops the summons that are summoned by themselves, cards like synchro summons and whatnot, or exceeds, which is what this card is mostly targeting. So yeah, that's the deck, you guys. Tell me what you guys think. Comment, rate, subscribe. If you guys got any Vajra on us that you're looking to get rid of, I'll gladly trade. Check out my trade binder video. Comment, rate, subscribe. I do respond to almost everything. Tell me if you guys got any requests. I'm debating uploading my Watt deck, even though it's extremely underpowered right now, seeing as I'm missing the core stuff that's been coming out, like Watt King Cobra and everything. Just tell me what you guys think, what you guys want, and I'll listen. Peace, you guys.